Ta-da! You probably won't see an awful lot of me on this video because the main focus is this. Recently, I had an opportunity to pick up some retro hardware that I didn't have already for a price that I just couldn't say no to. And it's all in here. Shall we have a look? I can't actually hear you. I hope you didn't say yes. Hope you didn't say no, because this is a video I can't hear either. Let's have a look. What have we got here? Well, first of all, something I didn't actually expect to be in this. Doctor Who audiobook of Twice Upon a Time, which is a Doctor Who story that made me cry. You know what you did, authors. And The Day of the Doctor. So that's really cool. I was not expecting those, but the person I bought them off, Sir Patrick, and yes, this isn't a donation, I actually did buy this stuff. He said that he'd got a load of Doctor Who stuff and it just had a load of duplicates. So I've got the duplicates in this box. So thank you very much, Sir Patrick. Also, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Was not expecting that to be in here, because this is a retro computer haul. So shall we get to the retro? Well, I'm going to give the game away a little bit here, because this kind of shows you what to expect. The Virgin Computer Games series, Games for Atari. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so we've got some Atari in here. Moreover, we have this little thing, an AVG. The thing actually has ERA and E in small letters, so actually instead of AVG card, it's average card. So this is an Atari cartridge that allows you to use SD cards to load software, which is very cool. So we have an Atari cartridge. There we go. But it's not for an Atari console, it's for a computer, isn't it? Nigel Mansell World Championship Racing, very nice. Gonna enjoy that. I do like a bit of racing. Not as many sorry, not N64. That's not an N64 card, the SNES card. Not many SNES races, now I'm thinking about it. The N64 definitely made up for that. Dalek Attack, a Doctor Who game. Oh, it's Commodore. Little red square in the triangle on top. CPM 64 and 128. This is the C64 version. Cool. I'll enjoy that. We do have a C64. I've been enjoying coding for it as well. It's very interesting. This is a booklet for TNT, hard drive and 2-bin APB, Dragon, Spirit and Zybots. So it's the manual. Nice. Really big cable here. Which one is this for? This is... interesting. That's an extension cable for an RCA video. Although, given RCA standards, you can actually use it for anything. A book, The Making of Doctor Who. Very nice. Very nice indeed. I'll enjoy that. A load of tapes. So, Around the World in 40 Screens, an Acorn Electron cassette. So, this is a Repton game. I am amazed that they got to produce so many of these, since Repton is a clone of Boulder Dash. And you made a success of a clone. It's very interesting. So, Acorn Electron and Atari, that's a bit of a hint, isn't it? Then we have APB, which goes with the manual here, APB. The Life of Repton. Type chain, quotation to load. So, Acorn Electron or BBC game there. Tengen. Hit Squad Head Over Heels for the Atari 800. Interesting. Zorro for the Atari. Are you getting an impression that there might be some Atari theme here? Because I am. Haha. Let's have a look at what else we got here. Thrust and Play It Again, Sam. Citadel, Play It Again. Oh, it's a collection called Play It Again, Sam. Okay, fair enough. This is Citadel and Thrust for the Acorn Electron. Atari Grand Prix Simulator. Very interesting. Never played the Atari version. Acorn Soft, Me and My Micro. Contents Monster Zap, Bomber, Maze Race, Congo, Anagrams, Twister, Match'em and Pairs. Yeah, that should be interesting. Very interested to see some of that. Ooh. Ooh. Star Raider, da 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 da, Star Racer. Star Raiders, the computer game, on Atari for CXL4011, which I believe is just the code for the series of 8-bit home computers. I'm assuming that bit's closes in when you stick it into the console. Oh! Okay, this is interesting. Elk SD plus 1. What's this? SD card storage interface cartridge for the Acorn Electron and plus 1. I don't know what a plus 1 is. Did they make 2 versions of the Electron? That's interesting, but apparently this is a cartridge thing. I didn't know the Acorn Electron had cartridge slots. I thought that was a BBC Micro thing. But okay, so it shows how much I know. The Electron is something that I wanted to learn a lot more about, which is why you might have noticed that about a lot of Electron stuff. Elk SD, so SD card reader for the Acorn Electron. Interesting. Haha! Repton 3, another Repton. Dragon Spirit from TNT by Tengen. Yep, Dragon Spirit, so that's another thing to go with that manual. Oh my goodness. Oh, hey. Okay, we've got 4 cartridges here now. Flight Simulator 2 for the Atari XE video game cartridge system. Interesting. Pole Position, always a classic. The ever-present Missile Command. And Galaxian. This has to be the key thing from this entire set so far. Galaxian. Love Galaxian. Love me a bit of shooting on Galaxian. Okay. Super Everdrive for the Super Nintendo. That's going to be very nice. I'm going to... I am going to have to see what I can put onto this. Because if we have the SD reader for the Super Nintendo, we could play all sorts. That is cool. Oh. Hello, Amelia. And hello, Amelia. This is Sir Patrick's cat, Amelia. She is very cute. If you've been on any of my live streams on the Game Hammer channel, you will know that she turns up from occasion. Yes, and on Who Knows Who. Okay, what a bit... Ooh. Now, continuing with what I said about wanting to get more into the information on the Electron, we have here Arcadians, a Galaxian clone. Countdown to Doom, which I've never heard of, but it looks quite interesting. Snooker, I have heard of this kind of game, and I believe it's applied trigonometry on a 2D space. Of course it is. Snapper, a Pac-Man clone. And Desk Diary, so you can organise your life. So, they're all Acorn soft for the Acorn Electron. Can you guess what's in this box? What is this, ladies and gentlemen? It's an N64 cartridge. What's on it? No idea. I'm going to play this on a live stream. It's like, what's in the cart? We'll find out together, and then we'll play it and we'll see what happens. That'll be fun. Oh, what else we got? Yogi Bear and Friends. I actually picked up a Wii game of Yogi Bear. Haven't played it yet, funnily enough. But Yogi Bear, so we can play some Yogi. Go-Kart Simulator for the Commodore 64, yes. That's always fun. I like stuff like that. Zeppelin Games, though. It's not Codemasters. Wow, a simulator that wasn't made by Codemasters. Fruit Machine Simulator for the Atari. So there you go. Never been a fan of fruit machines, especially fruit machine simulators. Anything where you put a tuppence in and you might get 10 pence back, but now you don't even have the tuppence. I never got that. Red Max. He's not mad, but he is a Max. He's Red Max. What is it? Looks like a Mad Max on a bike instead of a... Your hibernating crew aboard the huge Astro World drift silently through space unaware of the fission mines being planted by the renegade Death Lords. Okay. Okay, Red Max. Yeah, we'll find out what that is. That is for the Atari. Micro Power for the Electron. Jet Power Jack. I don't know what this... Oh! I'm going to have a look at... Now that is interesting. It looks like it may be some kind of platformer, puzzle platform, a bit like Manic Miner. That should be fun. Another one for the Acorn Electron. Hint, 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 hint at what's in this box and why I bought it. Spy vs. Spy for the Atari. So, oh, Atari were... So the blue symbol on there, for those of you who don't know, all the 8-bit home computers in the UK had colour coding on the cassette inlays, so that you could tell them apart in the shop. It appears Atari was blue, MSX was white, Commodore was red, Spectrum was yellow, and Amstrad was orange. And there may have been others, but I think they're the main ones. But here's a fun one. Atari's green now. They didn't always stick to the set colours, which was set, if I remember correctly, by Mastertronic. And then just picked up by everyone else. See, Atari's blue. So that's interesting. So it seems Sir Patrick has been a fan of Spy vs. Spy, because for the Atari, Spy vs. Spy, the Island Caper, the second one. Very nice. Street Fighter 2. This one is Commodore 64. That's very cool. I don't think I've ever played the Commodore version of Street Fighter 2. I have played the Amiga version. A lot of people diss the Amiga version of Street Fighter 2. I don't. I enjoyed it. It's the first one that I played. I've always liked it ever since. Ball Blazer from Lucasfilm Games. And that's for Atari. That'll be cool. Ball Blazer is an interesting game. It's basically a 3D one-on-one fighting game where you fire balls at each other. Yeah. As you can see on the back, it has a pseudo 3D environment. Actually not a bad game. If I remember correctly, it's a very fun two-player game. What else do we have here? Zybots and Hard Driving. So that finishes off the Tengen TNT set. This is for the Electron, Mega Force and Gunsmoke. Now I've heard of Gunsmoke, so that'll be very interesting to play that on the Electron. Always a pleasure to have this. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Yes, Hero Turtles is from the UK. And this one is the Commodore 64 version, which I haven't played, but will now. And always a pleasure, the Atari version of Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter is a hell of a game. Ported to pretty much everything. It's one of those classics. So what else we got in here? Oh, this is interesting. Another cartridge for the Acorn Electron and BBC Master 128. Advanced battery-backed RAM. So this is what, a RAM disc? A RAM disc that you could turn off. That is interesting. But again, it's a cartridge. I thought the Electron didn't have a cartridge slot. I really thought the Electron was like Acorn's answer to the Spectrum, where it was very much cut down, so they took out all the extraneous stuff. But this is a cartridge slot. I wonder if it has it on the back like the Commodore 64 does, where you just plug it in the back. That's interesting. We're going to examine this. That's very interesting. This is probably going to give the game away a little bit now. A lot of power supplies and the cassette deck for an Atari 8-bit computer. Oh, listen to that. Yeah, that's taking me back. Oh, this looks lovely. It's even got a light for where it's saving. That is cool. That is very, very cool. Not too heavy, quite snazzy. And this is an original power supply. We're going to spoil things now. An original power supply, but it's not for an Atari. It's for an Electron. Right, I'm going to move the wires out of the way because it's time to get the big things out. The manual for this tape recorder. And dum da 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 dum 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 dum. This beauty is an Atari 65XE. It's one of the Atari home computers, the 8-bit home computer. Oh, looks like the top is loose. Oh, completely loose, so I'll have to put a screw in it or something. But it does mean, funnily enough, we get a very welcome opportunity to have a look inside. Nice bit of engineering there, actually. Very cool. So that must have come loose in the post. This is the issue with post. Things get a bit jutted around, but I can stick a screw in there. It's not a problem at all. So 65XE with all of its interesting buttons. Interesting keyboard. Not the nicest I've ever typed on, but not the worst. Yeah, that's very cool. I'm very happy with that. Nice. And then, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles again. We have a book, The Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles in Buried Treasure. Now, I have a few more of these. So we have Red Herrings, Dinosaur Farm, which apparently came from Blue Peter at some point. Interesting. Sky High, and Six Guns and Shurikens. So that sounds like they go through the Wild West. These are very young readers' stuff by Dave Morris, who, if you're a long-term viewer of the channel, you'll remember is the guy who wrote the game books for Nightmare. Very cool. What else do we have here? Very interesting stuff. So remember when we had that cassette earlier on, it was Me and My Micro. Here's the book that goes with it. Me and My Micro. Paul Shreve, National Extension College, in association with Yorkshire Television. Very cool. It's talking about, it's got type-ins for the BBC or the Electron, the ZX Spectrum, basically the ones that were competing at the time for being the top dog. Spectrum obviously won. Haha! The manual for the 65XE, so that we can know how to use it. Programming with Atari Basic using built-in software. Built-in software is permanently encoded in the read-only memory chips inside the computer. Your Atari 65XE contains a ROM chip encoded with the Atari Basic programming language and the operating system program. The operating system, right, it's the operating system in Basic. I was thinking that it stuck something in, like one of the very early Sega consoles has the snail game in it. And of course, most of the Master Systems had a built-in game as well, like Sonic, Alex Kidd, and things like that. Exploring Adventures on the Electron. This is hard to get. The Exploring Adventures series is hard to find. And this is about the Electron. I'd love to find the Amstrad one sometime, but last time I saw it, it was like £200, because that's how rare it is. The Valley of Death, the Murder Mystery. Cool. This look. Oh, I do not like the way they've listed all of this. Some of the listings don't have a space between the number, the line number, and the command. Oh, yeah, and also they don't seem to put spaces in their commands. That is... Oh, I am not keen on that kind of programming, but we'll see how it goes. Ooh. The Atari Book of Games. That's cool. And this one uses actual spaces between the commands, which is much easier to read. That's the problem I have with the no spaces and things. How do you read that? It's not human readable. This is the Commodore 64 Micro Guide, a quick reference guide to basic and the system operations of the C64, which is actually very, very useful because I did not grow up with the Commodore 64. I knew a couple of people who had one. They were my cousins, and whenever we went around and played a game, they loaded it because they knew how to use it. That's how it used to work. Now, if you haven't guessed this already, Acorn Electron User's Guide, a manual for using an Acorn Electron. So let's have a look at... What? Bit of an issue. 1 second. This is bigger than I expected. Ladies and gentlemen, the Acorn Electron, or at least this bit is the Acorn Electron. When you bought an Electron, that's what you got, this. I don't know what this is. Oh! Okay, it says on the back, Acorn Electron plus one. This is attached. This is an expansion to the Acorn Electron, which makes it about the depth of a BBC. So you buy the small computer, then you stick a thing on the back, and it's the size of... Right, okay. It appears to be a cartridge slot. You add on a cartridge slot. That's interesting. The plus one appears to be like the ZX Spectrum Expansion 1. It gives it a cartridge slot. That is very cool. Was it Expansion 1 that gave it a might have been Expansion 2, cartridge slot and joystick ports. But here we are. I'm going to see what else the plus one does, because that seems remarkably large for an expansion that just puts in cartridge slots. So let's have a look. Apparently there were 3 expansions, plus 1, plus 2, and plus 3. It's a cartridge slot and some extra ports. What extra ports are there? Oh, printer port and what appears to be an early monitor connection. Right, that explains the size. So it's got extra ports. Right, the plus 3 is a disk drive unit. That's interesting. Wonder what the plus 2 was. Can't see it. Acorn plus 1 added 2 RAM cartridge slots, analog interface supporting 4 channels, and a Centronics parallel port. Oh, it's an analog that's not a monitor. A 4-channel... Yeah, it might be a monitor, yeah. Right, the analog interface was normally used for joysticks. Oh, so that's an input port, not an output. That's interesting. Trackball and graphics cabinet devices were also available. Parallel interface typically used to connect to a printer, yes. Right. Languages in paged ROM cartridges take precedence over BASIC. Interesting. The slot at the front of the interface took priority if both were populated. Cool. So we could stick the RAM disk in the second one, whatever you want to use that day in the first one, and you could be that's very cool. Right. So yeah, that is interesting. Cool. Well, very nice. So it's still an Electron. It hasn't been like upgraded to a BBC Master or anything like that. It's still an Electron, and it's got the extra cartridge slots, plus an interesting port for joysticks and whatever, plus a Centronics port, and then you've still got access to all your other ports on the side and the power. That is actually a really nice way of doing things. And more importantly, it's screwed onto the back so it doesn't wobble like the Spectrum ones did. Everyone remembers the ZX81 with its wobbly RAM pack. That is a very nice piece of kit. Let's have a feel of the keyboard. Oh, it's a nice hard feel on the keys. Oh, that sound is beautiful. Yes, I like this. That is nice. That is a nice experience of typing. I'm going to love using the Electron. Basically, this almost finishes the 8-bit line for the museum. The only thing we're now missing is like a ZX81, which I'll pick up at some point. We have now got pretty much the range. I am so happy. Guys, I'm so happy. But it's even not finished, because as I was picking the Electron out, I noticed another set of cassettes. So we have Hero Quest for the ZX Spectrum. Had to read that a little bit. Spy vs. Spy, the Island Caper for Atari. Oh, this one looks interesting. The Golden Figurine. This is for the Electron. That sounds cool. And it appears to be a puzzle platformer in the style of something like Jet Set Willy or Roland in Time. I'm getting the extreme Roland in Time vibes on that one. From the Amstrad. Oh, Atari 800 Master Chess. Now that's going to be cool. So, we're going to have a lot of fun with these. Especially that one. Do love a bit of Master Chess. Guys, what a pickup there. I am amazed. Thank you so much, Sir Patrick, for selling this to me, because I have now essentially completed my 8-bit line. Well, actually, no. The only bit that we don't have is like the BBC Master and the ZX81. But of course, with the addition of the Electron, we've kind of got the BBC covered in that respect. So this is going to be nice. Okay, I've got to now find space to store this. because that's becoming a premium. Oh, we certainly need to start building the museum. Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. That's all I've got for you for the moment because this is huge and I've taken up enough of your time. Take care. Have a great day. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk-Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Bortorini. Thank you so much, guys.